just one of those days I want to say, I mean, it's just beautiful out there today. Today is one of those days you just kick back, you drop the top, and you take care of some business, you make some money, you spend some money, and you just make it happen. It's just one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna tell you, I'm feeling today. Today is a beautiful day. I hope y'all out there also had a beautiful day. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Turn Up Friday. Unfortunately, DJ Pretty Blacks is not going to be in the building tonight, but he's out there. He'll definitely be back in the building on Sunday. We definitely going to get it rocking. We going to get it popping, you know? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we doing it today. We're going to talk about we're gonna get to the finance today. We're gonna talk about the finance today. One of those things I figure it's just so great. It's one of those great days. I was out there, made a few business moves, and I'm just feeling so great about it that I kind of want to talk about. I want to touch a topic similar to that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a topic talking about finance. Actually, the topic is uh, how should a person budget? You know, how do you budget your funds? How do you budget your money? And what do you budget for? You know, there's a lot of people that say, yeah, they definitely want to hold it down and they want to make sure that they budget out their money because they want to save it for a rainy day. And we already spoke about rainy days. We don't really rock to say, oh yeah, rainy days, because guess what? If you're saving for that rainy day, you definitely promoting that rainy day to happen. You know what I'm saying? So really and truly, you gotta make your plans and invest that money and make it happen. I'm not saying don't have any reserve. You definitely need your reserve, but you need to make it happen and budget for something other than just a rainy day. You know what I mean? You're gonna budget that money to make more money. So we want to talk about it. We're gonna talk about budgeting. And ladies and gentlemen, I know today is gonna go real quick. Angie from Cali, I see you out there. What's the deal? What's the deal? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We getting it cracking, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we doing it tonight. Holla at me radio. Like I said, we are talking about budgeting. How do you budget? How do you set that budget? So basically, I got an introduction to that. And basically, budgeting is the process of creating financial plans that actually helps a person to manage their income, expenses, and savings effectively. Now, with that savings effectively, I want to put also investing effectively. So it's definitely it's an important skill that everyone should learn to do. I agree, and regardless of their income level. Now, a lot of people, I must say, Major Pain is definitely in the building. What's the deal, Major Pain? What's the deal? Yeah. So basically, a lot of times, a lot of people think that because of their income level, they can't really set up a budget or they can't plan to invest or they can't set out anything because the money is so tight. But we're going to talk about it today to where, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter the type of income you have or how tight it is. Really, the budgeting is definitely about that planning. It's about that financial planning. So let's talk about it. So a well planned budget can actually help individual to achieve their financial goals, such as saving for a down payment on a house. That's the American dream, to have a house, have a car, have a dog, and a cat. They say that's the American dream. So we're going to talk about that. And basically, we're going to talk about setting up that budget. And we're going to talk about some of the tricks and it's a lot of tricks that you could do as far as and when I say tricks, nothing crazy, but it's just you got to get creative sometimes depending on your situation. And if you understand your situation and how you could actually maneuver and budget out your savings to make things work, then it can work. So we definitely going to get into that, and I want us to get into that list. So DJ Pretty Blacks definitely checking in. I see you, big dog. What up? What up? What up? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, this is how we doing it. What I want to do, I want to start with this list. And mind you, anybody out there, if y'all feel y'all want to interject on in the comments, check us out on hollatme.com. I believe the live show is definitely on and popping on hollatme.com. Ladies and gentlemen, before I start this list, I want to say we definitely working on the background. There's a lot of things going on in the background that we working. Is we even planning on things that's gonna happen next year, next year's summer. Certain events that we're already planning for next year's summer. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want y'all to stay tuned because we got a lot of things coming to y'all, and the team is definitely working. We working in the background, and we working on some changes. So, one thing I also want to mention is that we're definitely gonna keep Tuesday and Wednesday, but what's happening is we got to make some altercations. We gotta alter the schedule a little bit, only because there's certain things that's coming up that, due to the time frame on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're gonna have to make some adjustments. So on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, ladies and gentlemen, we're not gonna be on the air, but we will be making up Lovers Tuesday and Finance Wednesday to make it happen. So that's 100%. We're gonna get that popping. So, ladies and gentlemen, definitely on WPAT 9:30 a.m. dial, we're definitely not gonna be on Tuesday, Wednesday, but we still will be on Friday night, Turn Up Friday, and we will be on Sunday, Caribbean Sundays. What we will be doing is we will be giving y'all still the Love is Tuesday, but we just won't be doing it on WPAT only because our schedule. Well, I don't want to say our schedule. My schedule is getting kind of crazy. Pretty Blacks is definitely ready and willing to get it cracking. This is just what he does. You know what I'm saying? He's always ready. Shout out to my big dog, Pretty Blacks, definitely in the building. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, so on Tuesday, Wednesday, we won't be on WPAT, but we're working, and you will be seeing it on the live, certain product the products of what we're doing. So we building a few things to make certain things happen. So we are working in the background. So, ladies and gentlemen, just stay tuned for that. We definitely gonna get it cracking. It's just what we do. We enjoy the work. So, it's coming. It's definitely coming. I see Pretty Blacks is saying make room for the marathon. Okay. As a matter of fact, I believe he might be out there training, ladies and gentlemen. So, Pretty Blacks. I'm not too sure. I think we're supposed to start. I believe it's next month, actually, the training. So that's coming up pretty soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, definitely stay tuned for that. So I just want to say on Tuesday, Wednesday, WPAT, you could check us out on the website, which is hollatme.com. And that's going to be one thing that what we're going to be doing is we will be going live. We just will not be on WPAT on the radio. But definitely also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say check us out on Spotify, which it's Holla at Me Radio. That's definitely lit. If you go on the website, you'll be able to check us out on Spotify, um, Amazon Radio, and Apple Radio. So we're definitely working. We definitely making sure that we are on all platforms, and we're just gonna keep it flowing. This is just what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We are working. We love what we do, so we gonna keep doing what we do. Let's go. So let's get back to the topic. I believe that's our current events for now. You know, so that's our current events. It's basically we're making a little adjustment to accommodate my schedule. And I want to say thanks to Pretty Blacks, and I want to say thanks to all our listeners for understanding about my scheduling. And we will be picking it up, though, like I said. It's just a matter that it won't be within the next couple weeks or next few weeks. It'll probably be in the next month or so. So we definitely will be picking it back up. Just stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely big. We doing it big. So Big Marlon, I see you, big dog. I see you. I definitely see you. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, we talking about how to budget. We talking about budgeting and how the budgeting actually can bring you to a different space. And if done right, then this is what it's about. Once the budgeting is on point, then you become on point. So we want to say it doesn't matter your your income level, because if there is any kind of income, you will be able to do some budgeting. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got the list. I want to start off the list. Number 10. Number 10 is review your budget regularly. Um, so, reviewing your budget regularly to ensure you're on the track to meet your financial goals. Make adjustments as necessary to stay on track. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this right here. So, when it comes down to number one, I want to say that's number 10. So, obviously, we're talking about budgeting. So, if you don't have a, a budget, or you're not budgeting for anything right now, the first thing that you need to do is to think about what kind of budget you want to have, and what's your budget, what do you want your budget to be for. Okay. Now, one of the things is a lot of times people don't do this because they say they don't have enough wiggle room. They don't have enough funds to step out to say they're gonna put funds away in in regards to putting it aside because they got so much bills to pay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say when it comes to reality speaking, your budgeting or your funds that you make, you if you do allocate something that going towards the future, it actually makes you feel a little more motivated to even be doing what you're doing. Because what I find is this: if I'm not planning for something that's actually about to go down, or something in the future, then it makes it a little bit difficult to be motivated. So when I have a budget, or when I have a plan, when I set up a plan that I budget out, like I said, okay, one of my budget is to say, okay, I'm gonna get an additional 35 cars. And the reason why I want to get the 35 cars is because I want for certain people to get involved with moving these cars. And as they move these cars, they will make money. And, you know, so 35 cars. In addition, I'm looking that I set up a budget for that, and I say, okay, I need to have 35 cars within 3 weeks. So 3 weeks from now, I should meet my goal. And obviously, what I do, I divide that up. I divide that up into three, because per week, 35 cars, I divide it by three. So basically, it's a little shy of 13 cars a week. And so what I do is I go to auction online, because obviously my time is kind of tight, so I'm not able to go to the auction in person. So I budget for that. I budget to say, okay, each car I want to spend maybe 5,000 on each car, and from there, 5,000 for each car. I do my budget, I work it out, and now I'm off. So that's a part of my plan, and that's how I plan on. And there's certain people that's going to be involved in fixing them, and there's certain people that's also going to be involved um in helping me to sell them, because I won't be able to sell it. So I just want to say shout out to my dude Big Helmy. Shout out to Enrique. What up? What up? Shout out to LJ. These are my big dogs. These are my power moves right here. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to these V's. So this is how we doing it. Um, okay, let me get to a couple of these comments here. So Marlon is saying glad you're feeling better. I mean, I've been good, man. I don't know if you're talking about somebody else in the chat, but yeah, I've been good. So let me hear what you're saying. I found it hard to budget. After starting to budget around 60% of my income is just for expenses, I realize that I have an extra 40% to plan effectively with. Okay, so we're going to talk about that because that 40%, Marlon, is very important. If you're able to work with that 40% and do the things that and make that 40% multiply, that's when you're able to be effective. If that 40% is not multiplying, then the effectiveness is not there. So we're going to talk about some of the things you got to do. So basically, I say with number 10 is talking about once you have your budget on how much you want to budget for, how much you want to save up to make your investment or to make that money work or to make that money flip, then what you have to do is you have to set that budget, set a time frame. Because here's the thing, when you're dealing with planning for a budget, you definitely got to have a time frame. So that's number one. You got to set a time frame, and you have to set a measurable goal. So basically, when I say measurable goal, it's got to be a goal that you say, okay, I'm budgeting out. I need for my funds to be at, let's use a random number. Let's say $1,000. So if you're saying that, let's say you're saying every week you want to put away $500. Let's make it a little easy. Every month you want to put away $1,000. So that's your budget. So let's say that's your budget. Now you say in order for you to flip it and get into something that $1,000 is able to multiply, then you may say, okay, I'm going to, let's use a good example. Let's say cars, because I've been using that example. So let's say you say, okay, I need $4,000 in order to purchase a car, to fix the car, and to sell the car. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to follow me. So, obviously, it's going to take you 4 months in order to get that $4,000 because you're making $1,000 per month. So, basically, it's one of those things that once you set up the budget, things are going to come into place. But you definitely have to make sure you make alterations or maneuver it because you got to stick to the budget. If you know that you're supposed to be doing 1,000 a month, and the ending of the month come, and you realize you only have 800, then you got to see where you went wrong. And for the next month, then now you know you definitely have to do something in order to make up the shortage of the last month, because that's the only way for you to know that you're going to get that car and flip that car and also have the money to fix the car in order to sell the car. So one of the things that you have to take into consideration is that this money that you're going to save up, this money is one of those things that is is a piece of the asset. Now you got to get a connection to where you know that your car, you're able to get it below market value. Now, if market value of a certain particular car that you're going to be trying to get is, let's say, let's use an easy number, $5,000, and that $5,000 is your ending goal. So you know you have to spend less than $5,000 on the car. You have $4,000 at the end of the day, at the end of those 4 months. So you want to buy the car for as little as possible. So you know you're gonna need to find an avenue to where you could buy these cars wholesale. Now, it's very easy to do that because you got dealers, you got independent dealers that's, always willing to sell people cars on a wholesale level. And if you talk to a person and and that person is willing to do business with you, instead of them making maybe, let's throw a number out as far as they profit, instead of them making $2,000 on their profit, and they say, you know what, I'll make $1,000 instead of $2,000 on my profit, and they want to sell you a car, then that's great. Or you may say, hey, I got this amount, I want you to buy me a Nissan Murano or whatever car. And then from there, you say, okay, with this Nissan Murano, you already know it's $5,000. You could sell it for as long as it's in good shape. So basically, one of the things you just want to make sure that you get your get your car, and the car, if the car is just needs mechanical work, then you got to get a good mechanic as well. So that's also a part of the strategic level that you got to get on. you know so with the budget, it sounds like it's almost a lot of work, but it's really not. It's basically you getting all the you getting all your grounds covered. And once your ground is covered, you could do that while you have your budget. While you're saving up your money, you have 4 weeks to get all your ducks in a row. And that's when it goes that's when you get to where you want to be. So Marlon is asking, do you aim for a percentage amount on the resale? Well, it depends. It depends on what your ultimate goal is, Marlon. So if your ultimate goal is to say you want to come up with a certain amount within a certain time frame, because you always want, when you set your goals, you have to have a time frame. Time frame is one of the most important things. And also, obviously, the goal has to be tangible. You got to be It's got to be measurable. So with you saying you're going to save $4,000, you can measure it. Did you save $4,000? Or you could say, okay, instead of 4,000, no, I only saved 3,000. And now you got to see, can you make that work within the 4 months? But as you're going and planning along, then you should know that you have to make adjustments accordingly as your goal is going, as you are going into the goal. Um, so Major Payne is saying that I buy TP in bulk. I don't know what TP is, Major Payne. So she buy TP in bulk. It's cheaper than brand names out there. Oh, toilet paper. Okay, cool. Okay, understood. All right. So basically, um, so when you're doing certain things, you definitely got to look at your budget, and you got to make adjustments accordingly. So, ladies and gentlemen, we sticking to this whole concept as we're going to talking about these budgets. And once we get to number one, we're gonna look at how important it is, and we're gonna go through a lot of things to make it make sense. Keisha definitely in the building. I see you. Keisha got a good question. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, like Major Payne says, cut out unnecessary expenses, budget so you know where your money is going, and then learn skills to set up multiple streams of income. Okay, so very important, very important. One of the simplest thing I always say is, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, get another paycheck in order to kind of set things up, in order to get over the hump, in order to, okay, separate that edge. So basically, if you're doing a 9 to 5, you might need a 5 to 9 on top of that. And a lot of times, a lot of people is not able to look at their circumstances and cut out certain things because literally they are living that tight. You know, so when you're dealing with paycheck to paycheck, I understand that sometimes it's very hard to say, okay, I'm gonna budget out an additional $200 or an additional $100 because it's so tight. So what my thing to say is, well, get an additional income. If you need more money, make more money. And from making a little more money, now you could stick to that tight budget that you initially have to where it's paycheck to paycheck, but now you go ahead and you get an additional paycheck. And Major Payne is saying I had a second job at one point. I paid off my car. Okay, so there you go. So that was your initial plan. That was an initial goal. That was an initial budget. I would imagine that you had. So it just makes sense. If you need more money, make more money. And a lot of times, a lot of people do things and they jump into things because it's convenient versus they love to do it. If you really love to do something, I it's it's just great when you just if you're able to do something and you don't even expect to get paid, but you do get paid from it. Majority of the time, that particular thing that you're doing is gonna be you're gonna be good at it because it's one of those things that you're gonna put time and effort into mastering your masterpiece. So I'll always say, if you need to make more money. Put the time out there. So instead of saying, okay, I can't budget my my funds because I don't have the funds right now because it's so tied up, then guess what? Maybe you need to budget out your time, you know? So maybe you need to put an additional 4 hours on top of what you're putting out there, put an additional 4 hours out there, or get something else that's going to make you make more money. It's just like I was talking about a friend of mine when she was making about 500 a week, working for a company, punching the clock 5 days a week, and she was clearing after taxes about $500, and she ended up going independently to where she's not able to she's not really able to go ahead and depend on a paycheck. She actually xed that out and went independent and started doing drives and doing delivery of Amazon um I forgot the name of it exactly, but she was doing Amazon and another one with some packages, just delivering packages. But the difference with that is she wasn't guaranteed a paycheck at the end of the week. She had to go out there and hustle to get that paycheck. So now she's doing 1,500 a week and she's enjoying it. So I'm not saying that's an easy thing to do. It's oh yeah, it's Instacart. So I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do, but she actually went out there and started gambling on herself. So when she did Instacart and Amazon, she started making 1,500 a week. Huge difference. But she gambled on herself. She went out there and took a risk. And sometimes that's what it boils down to. It's taking these risks. Some people are not willing to take a risk on themselves. They prefer to be in a position to where they feel comfortable, even though it's because of that comfort the reason why they're not able to get out of that paycheck to paycheck. It's very easy. A lot of people say it's very easy for me to talk like it's easy to make money. And they say, oh, it might be easy for you just because you're in certain situations. But ladies and gentlemen, rest assured, I'm gonna say this because it's not easy. I put myself in a certain positions, and what happens is I take a gamble. I gamble on myself, and I play to win. Not winning is not an option. So I feel that when anyone gamble on themselves and go out there and say that, oh, I'm gonna get it, and they actually go out there and do 100% of what they think that they could do, but they actually sit down and have a plan, ladies and gentlemen, it's a different ball game. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Big Ed is in the building. I see you. I see you. What up? What up? Yeah. So budgeting and taking yourself out of your comfort zone is going to be one of those things that it just sets you apart. And before you know it, you will be able to have that budget. So if you don't have the budget now, and let's say you are paycheck to paycheck, you gotta talk to somebody who's not doing paycheck to paycheck. Explain your situation to them, and maybe they'll be able to come up with a situation for you. And then it's gonna be up to you to say, okay, I'm gonna take that advice and I'm gonna run with it, and I'm gonna make something happen, and I'm gonna gamble on myself, or I'm gonna gamble on this particular idea. You know, it's just that simple. So Major Payne is saying if you don't get out there and bust your butt, you won't get it. And that's a fact. So I totally agree with that, Major Payne. I love that. So let's go to number 9. Number 9 says use cash envelopes. Consider using cash envelope system where you allocate a certain amount of cash to each category and use only that cash to pay for expense. All right. So now we getting into something that you could say this is something that you can actually do. So a lot of people say, let's say they do have they're living paycheck to paycheck. So they got their expenses, they have their laundry, or let's say they may have the laundry inside the house, but let's say they gotta pay for laundry, whether it be just paying for detergent or whatever it be. You make an envelope for that, and you put that particular money inside of that envelope. Exactly. Rent as well. You put that money inside of that envelope. Utilities, yeah, exactly. And you have these envelopes for that, and you put that aside. Transportation, exactly. So you put those envelopes aside, and when it's time for you to pay it, boom, it's there. Whether it be you're gonna mail it out, or everybody do everything on the internet, you send it out. So when you use that, you know that this is the amount of money that's going here, that's the amount of money going there. So you end up having a discipline. It's sort of like a disciplinary action, because this is set for this, and that's it. That's exactly where that's going. And now you know that, okay, definitely the way I'm going, I don't have no extra. So now, if you don't have any extra to budget out, you need to budget out your time, because maybe you need to set some time in order to get an additional income. And you seek out there, and that's going to be a part of the budgeting. You budget your time. Say, okay, I'm going to do an additional 4 hours out of the week. Well, 4 hours in the day. So you might do an additional 20 hours in the week to make some kind of extra money, you know? And if every single week you find that that's exactly where your money is going, directly to expenses, then obviously you definitely need to pick up something else. Or if it's not in addition to that, you need to switch that up. And you one of the things that you could do is talk to somebody, because that's the reason why we say mentoring. Mentorship is just so important. When you have mentor and you have a person who's able to say, okay, you're able to talk to them about your situation, and you're able to trust them enough for them to for you to take their advice, then you have a mentor. And with that mentor give you a certain idea or give you a certain example to where you guys discuss and you say, yeah, that's for me. But guess what? It's not about procrastination. Now it's about you actually ending up getting out there and making it do what it do. Because action is also so important. It's just one of those things that if you're not taking action, then you could talk all day. The talking is not going to get you nowhere. So the action definitely important. Um, so the envelope, doing your bills on the envelope when it comes down to food shopping, transportation, utilities, rent, mortgage, everything and anything that you know is fixed. And a lot of times, if you're spending, obviously, utilities is utilities. Now, if you could break that down and make that less, you definitely make it less. If you leaving lights on and you leaving TVs on and you leaving whatever else on to burn the electricity, maybe you need to cut back a little bit on that and be more thoughtful about things like that. And so then that bill will go down. And a lot of times, okay, let's say toilet paper. I realized that Major Payne was talking about TP, toilet paper, earlier. So that's one of the things that you're able to do too. You break that down to where you buying bolts instead of buying single because you could get it cheaper if you're talking about bolts. So definitely using the um, cash envelope budgeting technique. That's one that you're able to utilize. Let's go to number 8. Number 8 is adjust your budget if necessary. So basically, if you find that you're overspending in a particular category, adjust your budget accordingly to prevent over going over your budget. And this is why the envelope is so good, because if you, let's say you get $100 per week, and you know, okay, this bill is 20, that bill is 20, that bill is 20, and the other bill is 20, and you put it in that particular envelope, then you're not able to you're not able to do what you want to do as far as overspending, because you got to spend from that envelope to that category. So that's the reason why that envelope's technique can be effective if you stick to it. Because if you say, okay, $20 is my budget to for transportation, then you know, okay, well, obviously the way you budget it out, that's the way you got to make sure that you do it. And the budget got to definitely be realistic, because if you set a budget that you're going to pay $20 for transportation for the week and you have to go somewhere for 5 days, then you got to do the math. So, you know, the math has to be there. You know, you're not going to buy an extra cup of coffee out of your transportation money in order to make it work. It's just not going to work that way. So, definitely trying to do that. That's one of the things. Now, Marlon, Marlon is saying that when you're not able to do what you want to do what uh to do that, your 9 to 5 become frustrating. Well, the good thing about a 9 to 5 is that you're able to make some money, and you're able to make the money to make it work. So a 9 to 5, even though you don't like the 9 to 5, you can make the 9 to 5 work. And once the 9 to 5 is something that's paying your bills initially, and you're able to save a little bit, then that money that you save, can you could budget that out in order to make it work, in order to do some kind of investment to make that money go to work instead of you going to work. And if you're bold enough, and like I say, it's one of the best things to do is talk to a mentor, you know. That's one of the best things to do. And for me, I'm gonna start mentoring soon, so holla at me too. All right. Um, I think that it's one of those things that if you talk to somebody who's doing it, and if you trust that person enough, that person can be a person that kind of guide you into the right direction, and you be able to be productive and effective when it comes down to it. So let's get to number seven. Number seven is track your spending. So keep a track of your spending to ensure you're sticking to your budget. Use a budgeting app or spreadsheet to keep track on your expenses. Okay, so that's just rest assured. Some people, if you are aware of spreadsheet like Excel, definitely use it and keep tight budget. The way you keep a tight budget is as soon as you spend it, you write it, or before you spend it, you write it. So that's one of the things that, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely can do. And also, if you got a phone, which majority of people have phones, you can actually download apps. And these apps, you got all kinds of apps that's able to help you out as far as keeping track of your budget. Um, so that's definitely one thing, ladies and gentlemen, that y'all could do as far as tracking your budget and to make sure that you stay within your budget. So you definitely have to track your spending. Obviously, if you got $20 in each envelope and you spend that $20 from that envelope on something else, then you could see where you're going wrong because you're spending out from the money that is supposed to be for transportation or for the utilities. So definitely that's one of the things that you could utilize and track your spending. Your spending is definitely important. There's definitely apps out there, budgeting apps that you could do. Just get into your app store, and I'm quite sure that you'll be able to find it. Um, so, if anybody know any apps that you're able to use to track your spending, definitely throw it up in the chat so everybody can see that too. So let's get to number six. Number six is prioritize your spending. So when you prioritize your spending, you do that by focusing on essential expenses such as housing, food, utilities, before allocating money to non-essential expenses. So obviously, these are some of the things that Major Payne was actually talking about. Major Payne was talking about a lot of these expenses that are definitely essential. Non-essential expenses, um, ladies, I hate to say it, but maybe it's gonna be getting your nails done. You know what I mean? And it might be also getting your car washed. Maybe you could do wash your cars yourself. You know, the other thing that you could do is do your nails yourself. There's a lot of things on YouTube that you could see on YouTube on how to do your nails or whatever it be. So that's one of the things that you could actually do. Um, or maybe it's even getting your hair done. And for the fellas, I guess one of the things could be instead of getting sneakers every other month, maybe you slow down on getting it every other month. Instead of every other month, you get a sneaker every 4 months. You know, sometimes it's getting that quality. The quality beats the quantity. So prioritizing on your spending will definitely get you up to speed. Uh, so, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get to number five. Number five is allocate money for each category, which we mentioned that. Based on your income and expense, allocate specific amount of money for each category. So we spoke about that as far as the envelope technique. You could definitely use the envelope technique. Number four is set financial goals. So determine your financial goals, such as paying off debt, which Major Payne, you had a debt, boom, you paid it off. So now your car is yours, 100%. So set, paying off debt, saving for down payment, or building an emergency fund. Now, one of the things that I think about emergency funds is I think that your emergency fund should be into making more money. Obviously, once you're constantly making money, that money is going to come in, and if you put your money out there to make money, then that money will make you the money that you need should in case an emergency comes up. But when whatever you focus on, these are the things that appear, or these are the things that expand, or these are the things that gets greater. If you focus on making more money, guess what? You're going to make more money because that's your focal point. If you're focusing on emergency money, that you need emergency money, guess what? You're absolutely going to need that emergency money. These are just the facts. These are just the facts. So the more that you think about something, the more you focus on something, is the more that particular thing is going to be a thing that you need, because you're going to focus on it and you're going to actually make it a part of your reality. That's going to be one of the things that you manifest. So Major Payne is saying Angie was living paycheck to paycheck. At one point, I actually spent a whole year eating Roman noodles. Okay, so that's gangster. That's gangster. I think that's one of the things that if you know that that's what you got to do, okay, you do it. But if you have to do that, that means that what you have to do now is, instead of doing that for a whole year, you got to make changes. Because if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, then you're going to go get the same results over and over. So it's just one of those things that if if you realize that something is not working for you, you definitely have to change it up, and you have to change it up sooner than later. And a lot of times you got to get that mentor, or you got to get that person who's able to give you some assistance, or give you some kind of pathway, or give you some kind of blueprint, so to speak. Because sometimes you even know the blueprint, but because sometimes you're frustrated and your mind is not that clear. And if you speak to someone, they might be able to point out certain things to you that is already there. It's already there, but you just have to you really have to really have it said to you sometimes. So definitely, ladies and gentlemen, that's definitely real. Um, so definitely, you have to set financial goals. So determining your financial goals, such as paying off debt, which we mentioned, is one thing that you definitely have to do. And a lot of times, initially, don't set a goal that you think is easy. You have to set a goal that is challenging. If a goal is set that you have already done, then that's not a real goal. You have to set a goal that you have not done as yet and is going to be a challenge. So that way, if it's not a challenge and it doesn't make your heart beat fast, then it's not even worthwhile speaking about. If it doesn't make your palms sweaty, or it doesn't, it's not giving you a challenge, or it's something you already done, or you've been doing it. It's not really a goal. It's just a repeat, because you already know how to do it. Uh, you want to set a goal that is going to be challenging, is going to bring you to that next level. It's going to show you that, okay, I'm here, and if I do this, I'm going to that next level. So if you're able to do that, that's a beautiful thing. If you can't do that, or if you want to do something that you already has done X amount of times, then it's kind of soft. It's not a real goal, and it's not a challenge, and it's not going to make you grow. Setting these goals is about growth. Is about getting to that next level. So let's get to number 3. Number three, we kind of spoke about categorizing your expenses. Uh, so categorizing your expenses, we already spoke about that. So we say organize your expenses in categories such as housing, food, transportation. We spoke about that. Number two is actually create a list of expenses. Make a list of all the monthly expenses, including rent, mortgage, utility, grocery, transportation, which we spoke about that. It's um it's sort of like that envelope technique, and you set aside that money for that particular category that you need to pay because it comes up on a monthly basis. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you definitely live in paycheck to paycheck, I'm not telling you, okay, don't pay your bills. I'm not saying, you know, um, do not eat because that's an essential. The thing that I'm saying is, if it's really paycheck to paycheck that you're living, you need to actually budget out your time. You need to set aside time that you can make more money. Because if you need more money, okay, guess what? You need to make more money. Now, if you can't make more money, then maybe you need to do something different than what you're doing in order to make better money in less time frame. Major Payne say, or also you could cut out extra expenses. I know for a fact that there are some people that really and truly are living paycheck to paycheck and they're paying all the essential expenses that they have. But one of the things is, it's very hard for you to tell a person, okay, well, leave that job, go get another job. Very easy to say, but it might be a little harder to do. That takes a lot of confidence. It takes a lot of self discipline. Takes a lot of determination. So definitely 100%. If you can't budget out money from the amount of income that you're getting and you need more money, then you got to set aside time to make more money. If more money is what you need, make more money. But once you make more money, you have to make sure that you budget out the money. That way, the extra money can make you more money versus you using your time in exchange for money. You know, if you're able to utilize your time and with your time you make more money, then you need to do that. But if it's one of those situations to where you just can't leave that initial job, then after that job, you got to go to another job in order to make more money. Or you get creative and speak to people who are creative and they could give you some ideas. For me, that's the reason why I have a team. I have a team that when it comes down to certain things that I'm doing, they're able to give me more knowledge on the things that I'm doing to make me better at what I am doing. So it's very important to have a team or to have a person that's actually doing what you want to do. And they're able to kind of look into your shoes and look into your situation and give you some advice. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most important things in life is to use your resources. Your resources is one of those things that once you utilize your resources, you're utilizing the gift that you have. Because those resources, those people that comes into your life, they're there for a reason. And those are your gifts. And if you don't utilize your gift, then guess what? You're you're giving away your blessing or you're not utilizing your blessing. Each one is a blessing to another. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to get to number one. Number one is determine your income. Determine your income. So, before creating a budget, you need to know how much money you have coming in. Add it up, add it all up, and including all the salaries, all the bonuses, and any other side hustle. So, okay, that's number one. So, number one is talking about you definitely have to know exactly how much money is coming in. If you know how much money is coming in, you could know how much money you got to put out. So, in order for you to say, okay, I could budget everything out and I could put $20 here, $20 there, $20 there, you definitely have to know how much money is coming in. It's sort of like common sense. You can't, if you know exactly how much is coming in and you know that you definitely living paycheck to paycheck, then you know you got to do something else in order, like a side hustle or something like that. You got to do that side hustle in order to make it work. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you know you need more money, get out there and make more money. If you can't budget what you have in order to say you're budgeting it to put a little extra in order to make that extra make you more money, then guess what? You need to add more money and create some kind of side hustle. That way, that side hustle could get you that money. The beautiful thing about making money, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy if you can see it. But if you don't see it, obviously it could get very hard. So I got about 30 seconds. I just want to tell y'all I definitely appreciate y'all listening. This went very, very quick, quicker than I really expected. But, ladies and gentlemen, we'll definitely be back in the building on Sunday, and that's Caribbean Sunday. And like I said, we're working on some things, so we will be back Sunday. Look out for us. And I want to say peace and love. We start with love and we end with love. Ladies and gentlemen, peace. And I just want to say for everybody on the internet, I want to say thank y'all for joining in. Appreciate the love. And we are working in the background. We doing a lot of work. So we got a lot of goodies that's gonna be coming to y'all. Definitely holla at me. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Motivation on Russ. I see you, Major Pain. What up? What up? What up? Sexy lady in the building. Angie from Cali. I see you. I see you. What up? What up? Big Ed. I know you out there practicing for that marathon. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 push-ups a day. That's how you do, baby. Marlon, what up? What it is, baby? Let's get it cracking. Until next time, we definitely in the building. Peace.